there's one aspect that I hope we can come to a mutual agreement. We're not going to. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a little sneak peek there. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day. Today we're gonna be getting ready together, you and I, and we're gonna probably talk about things that are too personal to talk about on the internet, but we're gonna do it anyway because that's just what we do here. That's just what we do. Now, not everything is gonna be like personal medical stuff, I promise, but some of it is. So let's just go ahead and jump on into getting ready. I like this whole cool stick of stuff. I don't know if it really does anything, but I like it. Oh, I forgot I was gonna try this little random pot of cream that I found on my table. Hyper Real Skin Canvas Foam. I have rose in it. It smells very floral. The first thing I'm gonna dive into today is we're gonna discuss the video editor situation just a little bit. I haven't been so angry in quite some time. It really does take a lot to make me upset in any way, shape, or form, but I was so frustrated with the particular situation. So a little while back, I told y'all that I was gonna be getting a video editor. I've never had a video editor before. I have personally edited all like 800 and what are we on? 40 something, 60 something of the videos on my channel, with kind of the exception of one. So I had gotten a video editor because, you know, I have YouTube going on. I have a couple of different stores in my town. We're going to be opening up a B&B thing. I'm moving. Like, there's just a lot going on. So I thought it'd be nice to be able to have a little break, have a little extra time. Plus, I thought if I had an editor, it would be easier to start doing even more content and then also like start finally putting stuff on the vlog channel. So to get an editor, I really didn't know how to go about it besides signing up to one of these companies that have like a bunch of editors working for them. There's a ton of these different companies, so I picked one that I thought would be good, and let me tell y'all, it's not cheap. It is not cheap. That is one of the reasons that I've waited so long to try to find an editor. Just honestly, it's a very expensive service. Basically like $1,000 a month. Like, you're not getting away with one of these editing services unless you want to pay $1,000 a month, and that's usually for like the base price. So I found one of these video editing services, I signed up, and I did send them a video to edit, and I put up that video. You guys might have seen it, you might not have. It was the curator unboxing that I did, and honestly, the lady who was doing the editing seemed so super nice. Like, we had some back and forths and stuff as she was editing through the video and things. Very, very nice lady. However, unfortunately, I don't want to be mean about this. I thought when I was signing up for this service to have a professional edit my video, because they're also supposed to be video editing professionals, and you know, I was paying them a decent amount of money. Thankfully, for my first month, I was able to find like a discount, so I did save $200, which is awesome. But if I didn't find that discount, it was going to be $900. So I thought, you know, if I was getting like a professional service that I paid $900 a month for to edit my videos, I thought I was going to be receiving like professional videos back from them. Because what I do here with my editing and stuff, this is not like, it's pretty much the most basic editing that you can do. It's very time consuming. It takes a long time to edit videos and chop them all down and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'll film for like 2 hours. It takes me forever to condense that down to like a 20-ish minute video. But I'm not popping in like a ton of B-roll. I don't have explosions or anything happening in the side of the screen. Like, there's no like J.J. Abrams lens flares or anything happening. It's very basic editing. So sending it off to a professional, I thought it was going to be like cake, like a piece of cake for them to edit my videos. Now, when I signed up, they did say that it might take a while for like your video editor to understand or like, you know, get in touch with your editing style. Totally get that, absolutely get that. But I was thinking all the basics would just already be like kind of, you know, tucked away in their video editing knowledge. I don't want to be mean about this, I really don't. So when I sent off my video to be edited, I got the first copy back, the first revision back, and it was, I know I don't have perfect lighting, I know I don't, I never have, I'm still so bad at cameras, but they had turned up the brightness and the contrast so high that you couldn't see almost anything. Like, if I held up something to the screen, sometimes I do have an issue with brightness on that, and I do try to like work with that as I'm editing, but it was turned up so high you couldn't read like anything that was on labels or anything like that. Everything, the picture was just so overblown, and I was like, that's interesting. I wonder, you know, from a professional video editor, I wonder why that's what they decided to do. I wonder why they looked at that video and was like, yes, this looks good, send it. When I got that first edit back, I was like, okay, this is just the first go around, this is fine. They were a little bit choppy, there were some strange long pauses, so things were like okay, but I did think it was a little strange. A very basic element of video editing was not really taken into account. They're just like brightness all the way up. So I responded to that first revision sent to me and I was like, oh yeah, like okay, I think we're heading in the right direction. But I was wondering if we could turn down the brightness. I was like, you really can't see too many of the products that I'm holding up to the screen. Like everything's a bit too bright, a little too much contrast. Can we turn that down a bit? And she was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll get to work on that. And then, you know, I waited for the next one to come in. So I got my next revision, and the brightness, the brightness and contrast, I think were lowered a little bit. However, I was blue. Like blue abba-dee-ba-da-ba-da. The little kind of like pink marbly looking slide that pops up in the beginning of most of my videos was practically purple, like because the warmth had been turned down so much, or the cool tone had been turned up so much. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Again, not that I'm fantastic at video editing. I think we probably all know this here, but I was like, you know, that's just such another like basic element of video editing. So I didn't think I was asking for anything crazy, but I was like, hey, so sorry, but it looks very blue, like it's very cool toned. Is there any way we could make it a little bit warmer, make the colors look a little bit richer? But I did say that I liked that there is more differences in the music in the background. So she changed it up a little bit in the background. You know, it was just a couple of different songs throughout the video to kind of, you know, like I said, keep it fresh. So I sent that in for revision, and then when it finally came back, I looked at the video, and the video looked pretty good. Like the actual coloring and everything looked pretty good, and I was like, yes, this is looking pretty good as far as like what my eyes can see. However, my ears couldn't hear any of the audio. So she had just sent over like the video with the background music and no actual voice. And this time, I don't know if she mistook what I said in the last revision. I was like, oh yeah, I like the differences, the change-ups in the music. I don't know if she thought I was asking for more change-ups, but she put like 50 songs in the background of this video. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of frequent changes. That's a lot of kind of sporadic changes. But I didn't say anything. Like I had already asked for a couple of revisions. It is unlimited revisions, that's part of what you're paying for. But I'd already asked for a few, and I was like, I can't say anything else about that. But I did say like, oh, you know, it's looking pretty good, but I can't hear what I'm saying. And she thankfully did send it back to me fairly quickly with the actual audio track. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot this, and sent it back with the audio track. I had mentioned throughout the like reviews and the revisions that I thought the audio sounded kind of strange, like kind of muffled. I was wondering if they had turned back. There's a little like button slidey thing on iMovie, because that's what I use. Like the least advanced video editing you can use. Okay, that's me. But there's this little slidey thing that can turn down like background noise and stuff. And if you turn it up too high, it sounds like you're in a fishbowl. And it kind of had a little bit of that fishbowl sound to it. But I don't think they ever really did fix that. So after I sent that off asking if I could get like the audio track and that kind of thing, I figured that was going to be the last revision I was going to ask for, because at this point I think we were like maybe 5 days into them having this video, and I really needed to post the video, which I did make a point to say to Jeremy. I was like, ooh, you know, by this point I probably could have edited this video several times, multiple times over myself, and already posted it. But you know, we were working out the kinks, that kind of stuff. So I understood that it was going to take a little while longer in the beginning. I didn't anticipate having to like kind of guide them through being like, oh, like the contrast is way too high, this is way too blue, the voice sounds kind of strange. I just thought I would have to like help them get my style down. You know, it's a very simple style. I like to zoom in on boys, I zoom in on weird stuff, I like to keep in the blabbing. So that part of it I feel like they actually got a hold of pretty quickly, but like the basics of editing were really, I feel like I was doing a bit of hand holding, and I'm not a professional, like not a professional. So that was a little bit strange to me. And because of that and just how long it took me to get my first video to actually be able to post, which after I did receive the video with the audio, the visuals, everything, I imported it to my iMovie and started making adjustments. There were still some random pauses and things that I had to take out. I tried to turn down the background music because it was just too loud, which a lot of you guys pointed out as well. Just didn't seem like a professional had edited the video. It didn't seem like an elevated version of what I could do myself, especially, you know, for charging people like 900 bucks. That's a lot. So after I posted the video, like got some feedback from you guys and just really thought about it, I was like, you know, I don't know if this is like the service for me. I just don't know if this is like the way I want to go right now. Maybe I could try another service, or you know, it didn't seem like the correct fit. But luckily, thankfully, they have a 14-day money-back guarantee. If you want to cancel your service within 14 days, you get your money back. Simple as that, nothing else, nothing added, 14-day money-back guarantee. So I messaged them to make sure I knew exactly how to get my refund, and all I said was you had to cancel, and then you would be in contact with like your person kind of over your account, not the editor, but like the person that oversees your account, and you would request the refund, and there'd be some type of like form or something to fill out. Okay, so that's precisely what I did. I was well within the 14 days, so I canceled. I put in the little notes of why I was canceling, kind of, you know, just a general like, oh, I'm just so sorry, like it just wasn't working out for me, I'm so sorry, but please, I would like my refund. And then I went ahead and I emailed the person over my account just so they would know for sure that I wanted the refund and I was canceling within 14 days. So I waited a little bit for the response for that, and they came back, as brands do, as companies do. They're trying to like make sure you don't cancel, so they're trying to do anything to prevent me from leaving the service. And they just kept asking like, oh, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? And I was trying to be so nice about it because the editor was so nice. I was like, oh, you know, it didn't really work out for me, like the time framing and, you know, the edits, like it just didn't work out for me. But they kept pushing and pushing. So eventually I just had to be like, listen, the editor was so nice. It's just so nice. However, I just don't feel like I was really paying for professional service because these very basic things, like just very basic fundamentals of video editing, were not done well. And because of that, it just really like pushed that timeline on how quickly I was going to be able to send in and post videos, because if every time I sent in a video I was gonna have to be like, ooh, you know, that lighting, that's not good. And that back and forth would take like a day each time. That was really gonna like prevent how many videos I could actually get edited per month. So finally, like, I got it through to them that I did want to cancel, and they came back to me and said, and this is the part, ooh, I was shaking. I feel like I need to actually pull up the exact wording for this because it almost sounded like a little like condescending. let me pull up the actual wording. All right, so they responded, thank you so much for the additional feedback. I'm sorry it's not what you're looking for. They tried again to try to like get me back. They're like, we have a bunch of other editors if you want to come back in the future, that kind of thing. Then she gets down to regarding the refund. There's one aspect that I hope we can come to a mutual agreement. We're not going to. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a little sneak peek there. The refund is fully applicable when the overall editing experience was unsatisfactory, meaning that the edited videos were not used in any personal content. If you had asked for the full refund, unfortunately, the uploaded video would have to be taken down. No. Of course, if you do need to keep it, we can agree on a partial 50% refund. Pricing topics can be unpleasant, but I do hope we can part ways on good terms. I think not. So they decided what they were going to tell me is that they were going to demand that I took my video down if I wanted my full refund, and if I wasn't going to take my video down, they would only give me half. Now, because I only paid $699 for this first month trial, that would have been a $350 refund, and they would have kept my other $350 for the most basic editing you could possibly do. If it had been the regular price, it would have been $450 that they would have kept of mine. Or again, demanded that I take my video down, my personal intellectual property down. So that didn't set well with me. It really didn't. I don't know why I was feeling a little extra feisty that day, but I was. So I rolled up my sleeves and I sat down at my desk and I started just tip-tapping away, because I knew what they were telling me. I knew what they were saying to me was wrong and potentially illegal, because I read their terms and conditions. I knew exactly what it said in their refund policy, and it didn't say any of that. None of that. So I responded with a strongly worded email. I'll give you guys a little taste because it's a bit long. In the beginning, I asked her to please direct me to the refund policy on your website that states basically what they stated, because as stated in your actual refund policy, you only had to do two things to qualify for a refund. You had to provide them with clear direction during the editing process, and then provide the editor with feedback, both of which I did, asked for it within 14 days. I want my refund. The whole thing, just like you advertised and promised and is stated in your refund policy. You know, I'm in here like, it goes on for a while. Furthermore, there is no mention whatsoever in your refund policy that the edited media could not be used in personal content if you wish to get a full refund. I also told them that I had to download the video myself, re-edit it because I was indeed unsatisfied, then posted my file, not their file, my file to YouTube from my own files because I was unsatisfied with theirs. And then I ended it with, therefore, because I fulfilled all the criteria needed in order to receive a refund, there is no mention in the refund policy of not being able to receive a full refund if the edited media is used, and the fact that the video is my intellectual property that I had to re-edit because I was unsatisfied with the service. I will not be taking down my video and I will be asking for the refund in full. I hope you understand. And I said, thank you, Alexandria, and I pressed send. So in like those moments of adrenaline, like as I was like typing everything out, I sent them screenshots. I sent them screenshots of their own website and their own refund policy. You know, the adrenaline's pumping and I'm like, yeah, like all like worked up about this. I pressed send and immediately the anxiety smacked me in the chest. I was so anxious, I thought I was going to vomit in my kitchen. I kept telling Jeremy, I was like, Jeremy, I'm gonna be sick. Not only am I feeling terrible because of whatever's going on inside of me, we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm so anxious about this email, this strongly worded email that I just sent, I'm going to throw up. I was like, what if they respond and they're just real mad at me, or they have like a lawyer respond to me, or like, I was going through all these scenarios, these situations in my head. I can't find my eyebrow stuff. And I was shaking in my boots. I truly and honestly was. Until I got an email the next morning and they said basically like, yeah, you're right. Our policy is missing a lot of additional information, so we're just gonna go ahead and give you that refund in full. And then the lady told me that she subscribed to my YouTube channel. So if you're seeing this right now, hello, I'm so sorry, but also not. Don't do that to people. That's a lot of money for people to just lose. So what I'm saying here, a few different things. One, they absolutely lied. They are trying to take advantage of me. They're trying to take 50% of my money, $350 from me. I have no idea how many other people they've done this to. And people might have just backed off, stood down and been like, okay, sure, I guess 50% is fine. Or yeah, sure, I'll take down my video. I have no idea how many other people they've done that to. And I feel like there has to be something illegal about that somewhere. And then also, this is to say that I no longer have a video editor. So it's just me. Ooh, that was a really long story. I did not intend for that to be that long. My bad. We have other things to talk about. Also, my face is not anywhere near done. And I'm kind of sweating. I got worked up again. I'm glad I haven't done my hair yet. That's why my forehead is like very out because I don't have my little tendrils hanging down just yet. Oh, I'm like hot. I still would like to get an editor though. I really would. I would love to have more time to be able to make more videos for you guys and also like pay attention to the store maybe actually and do all these things. But now I just have like a bad taste in my mouth for these video editing services. I don't really know how else to get an editor. I'll be looking into some other options, but for now, it's just me. Okay, the next part of this video, this is going to be a very long video. I'm so very sorry. The next part here, I was just going to talk a little bit about my diagnosis because in my last like little chit-chatty get ready with me kind of thing, we talked about how sick I was and how we thought potentially it was like my gallbladder, gallstones, that kind of stuff. There's so many of you guys sharing similar stories in the comments of that video, and that was like, I read through every single comment. That was really nice of you guys to like kind of empathize with me and share like what you've been going through and that kind of stuff. But most of us, I feel like all of us kind of agreed that it was going to be gallstones. It's not gallstones. I went and had an ultrasound done of like my abdomen and stuff, and they looked at my gallbladder, my kidney, my liver. They tried to look at my pancreas, but I guess they couldn't see it. I could tell as she was doing the ultrasound. I'm no scientist, I'm no medical person whatsoever, but I have had my gallbladder looked at twice, and the first time that I had actual gallstones, she was looking at my gallbladder. I could like see them, and she was measuring, like clicking, you know, the little rolly ball, like clicking and measuring stuff. But this time she was hovering over my gallbladder, and I looked up and I was like, is that little black thing on the screen there my gallbladder? She's like, yeah, that's it. And it was just perfectly black. There was nothing inside, and she didn't measure anything. So pretty much immediately, like during my ultrasound, I was like, there's no gallstones in there. Where'd they go? So I was happy about that. I was kind of excited about that because I really don't want gallbladder surgery. I would like to, like I said, keep all my organs on the inside. Unless they're causing me pain, causing me issues, then I'll take them out. I also checked my kidneys, no kidney stones, anything like that. So I was like, okay, well that's lovely, but what's causing this? And I got a call yesterday from my doctor, and she told me that I have fatty liver disease. Really and honestly, I didn't know what that was, so I started Googling immediately, and turns out it's where, you know, it kind of makes sense, where fat starts accumulating in your liver, which is not good. So mine is fairly mild right now, which that's nice, but if it does progress a lot, it can turn into cirrhosis. Like with alcohol, like cirrhosis of the liver. You can get jaundice, everything. Have to get liver transplants. So that's not great. So the lady who called me, I think, was my doctor's nurse, and she said that the doctor wanted me to go on a low-fat diet. So I was like, okay, I mean, that sucks, but okay. I'll do whatever I need to for my health to make sure it doesn't advance, because that's not what I want whatsoever. But then I started looking into it, and everything I've come across online, you know, from different doctors and everything, say that the reason that your liver gets fat cells and molecules in it is because it's processing fructose through your liver, and it turns into fat, and it's like being stored in your liver. So it's not really fat or anything like that that's causing it, it's like sugars. So a low-fat diet would be like not good for fatty liver disease, especially if you're going for like low-fat foods, like actual low-fat, you know, like science has made them low-fat. What they're doing is they're taking out the fat and they're adding in sugars, and that's not good. that's an issue. So everything I've looked at says that I need to either do keto or potentially the Mediterranean diet. Now I've done keto many times before, and you can lose weight very quickly on keto, but for me it is not sustainable. It's not something that I can keep up forever. I'll lose the weight and then I'll gain it right back. You know, recently I have gained several many pounds, which I don't love, and I'm sure that could contribute to this as well. So I would really like to get more lean, get more healthy, get in shape, that kind of stuff. I just don't know if keto is something that I could do for the long term. I really don't. However, I've been looking into the Mediterranean diet, and it seems like something that could be a lot more sustainable for me. You can still have carbs. I love me a carb, a potato, a piece of bread, but I think with the Mediterranean diet, they just really want you to eat more like whole foods and just healthier in general. So if you're gonna eat bread, make sure it's like a whole grain sourdough or something like that, or just like a nice whole grain, organic, whole wheat kind of bread. So I'm gonna be trying that now. That's gonna be my new adventure, my new journey. Apparently a lot of people have a fatty liver. I've heard statistics that anywhere from 25% up to 40, I feel like 40 might be a little high, but 25 to potentially 40% of Americans have fatty liver, and most of us don't know it. Another doctor said like 2 billion people worldwide have fatty livers, and they just don't know it because a lot of times they don't present with symptoms, but I guess mine just does. So from what I'm gathering, the pain that I've been feeling like in my abdomen, because your liver's like right all through here somewhere, the nausea, and potentially even the like heartburn, acid reflux could all be related to the fatty liver. I'm still gonna go get the scope so they can look at my esophagus and my stomach to see if there's maybe an ulcer or something else. So far, the acid reflux has gone down a little bit. The nausea really hasn't subsided. I've been basically just nauseous across the board, which that's not fun. That's just my diagnosis that I didn't really expect, and it does make me a little bit sad. It does make me a little bit sad. My weight has fluctuated my entire life. Lots of like fast, quick, extreme losses to where I've gotten like really, really thin, which also extreme fast weight loss can contribute to fatty liver as well. So your weight loss needs to be like slow and steady. Like mine needs to be slow and steady now as I'm trying to like correct this. And then like I've gained like a bunch of weight really quickly, and I've been like this pretty almost my entire life. I've had a very difficult time with food and stuff. There's a whole background to that. Not something I've ever talked about on here, but maybe eventually one day. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that just yet. Part of me has been really nervous talking about like wanting to lose weight and stuff here, like on the channel or on the internet, because there's some kind of, you know, negative stuff associated with that. But I think at this point, it's just, for me, now it's mandatory. Like, this is something that I do not want to get worse. I do not want it to progress. I want to feel better. I don't want this to be something that I need to worry about. And so now I just really need to focus on this and take it seriously, eat healthy, exercise, all that jazz. So that's probably gonna be something I focus on here for a while, you know, not on the channel or anything. Potentially if I did like a series or something of like, you know, doing the Mediterranean diet to cure my fatty liver or whatever, that would be something that I would throw into the vlog channel if I ever put anything on there. I keep like thinking of all these ideas and then nothing ever gets put up. But that's something I won't be, you know, focusing a lot on here on this channel. But I just wanted to let you guys know like what I was actually diagnosed with, and that I think it's something that I do need to take very seriously. Fortunately, it's just a mild version of it right now, but I don't want it to get anywhere near past mild. Oh, I also asked my doctor if I could see a rheumatologist. A long time ago, I was tested for lupus, and a lot of the markers came back positive. They weren't certain because they said there weren't enough markers. It was like, for instance, if I needed 5 markers to be like, yes, you have lupus, I had 4, and they're like, you know what I mean? But I've just been worried since then that I have something else going on, like an autoimmune condition or some type of like chronic inflammation. I get really bad red facial flushing out of nowhere. Like I'm not hot, I'm not anxious, just all of a sudden like intense red on my cheeks. And I also deal with like the hair loss stuff, and I have painful joints and just a lot of things. So I asked if I could go to a rheumatologist, and she's gonna give me a referral. We did some blood testing and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited, well not excited, but I'm glad that I finally am getting to do that and, you know, go talk to a specialist about my concerns. Again, you guys, just advocate for your health stuff. Like, I can't believe how nervous I've been and how much I've wanted to go to a rheumatologist for like years now, and I've never just been like, hey, can I go to a rheumatologist? Like that's all I had to do. It's crazy. It's wild. So if you're like really concerned about something, like just don't be afraid to ask. The worst they could say is no. And then if that's the case, maybe find a new doctor. I don't know. Oh, speaking of finding a new doctor, the other day I was supposed to go to 3 doctor's appointments. One was the ultrasound, one was to get more lab work and blood work, that kind of stuff done, and the third one was to go talk about my Adderall prescription, which I think has been working really nicely. I've been so happy to finally address these issues that I've been having, and I think it's been helping me out. So I was gonna go talk to the doctor about the Adderall, say like, hey, things are going really good. I'm liking the direction that we're going in. I'm feeling less anxious. I'm feeling that I can focus better, all that kind of stuff, and, you know, get more prescriptions. Because I have no prescription refills left, I was gonna go get more refills. So I don't know what came over me, but I decided that I was not 1000% certain. I was supposed to be there at 1 o'clock, but for some reason I was like, aren't they still on lunch at 1 o'clock? So I called them just to check to make sure if I was supposed to be there at 1 or 1:15. I don't know if it was somebody from their office or just like the, you know, the network I was calling. I don't really know. I just was like, hi, I just want to check in and make sure I am coming at the right time to the appointment. And the lady on the phone was like, you don't have an appointment today. She did not seem very happy. I was like, oh, really? Like, you know, this is my name, this is how you spell it. And she was like, yeah, there's nothing here. And then I guess there was something there. She said, oh, they canceled your appointment. Oh, they did? Why would they do that? And then she told me. So for context, I've only been going to this doctor for behavioral health stuff, and I was under the impression that he was a behavioral health doctor. It even says like behavioral health on the thing, so I just assumed, you know, I was going there for anxiety, depression, ADHD, that kind of thing. We'd never talked about anything other than behavioral health, mental health stuff. She told me, apparently, he was my primary care physician, and because I had gone to the other doctor that was doing all of like my internal organ things because I've been feeling so sick, it voided me as a patient of him, the doctor who had finally like helped me address my ADHD. I had really liked him, like things were working out well. Voided as a patient, dropped as a patient, could no longer see him, couldn't get any medication refills, nothing. Because I had gone to see this other doctor that was also a primary care doctor, and I didn't know. And if they had mentioned that to me, if they had potentially told me they're in the same network, they're both under the same family of doctor's offices, they have almost the same name. If they had just mentioned when I was making another appointment, like, hey, are you aware that you already have a primary care provider? I would say, no, I'm not aware of that. And when they told me that that man was a primary care provider, I'd have been like, oh, get surprise. And then I would have just made an appointment with him as to not void my, you know, patientship. So literally, if I hadn't called them to check, I don't know what made me call them. Like I had a text from them and everything, but I don't know what made me call them. If I hadn't called to check, to see what time my appointment was, I would have been 45 minutes away from my house in Lexington at that doctor's office, and they would have said, oh, you don't have an appointment. I had a text message confirming my appointment the day before, less than 24 hours after they told me I had been dropped as a patient. I'd already seen this other doctor before then, so I don't know why they were confirming my appointment time when I had none. I had finally, you know, started addressing my ADHD, and I've been feeling better, and I like this doctor, and he actually listened to me and that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, and now I can't go there anymore. And I asked them if this new doctor would be able to even like fill an Adderall prescription, and she was like, well, it's up to her discretion. Like she can do what she wants. I was like, okay. So I called the other doctor, and they talked about it and stuff, and they did agree that they would fill the Adderall prescription, which is nice. I just have to come back in and sign some like contracts and do like a drug test. But that is good that I will be able to stay on the medication that has been helping me. I just really wish they would have let me know. A text message, anything, an email, a call to let me know that my appointment had been canceled and I'm no longer a patient and I can't get my medication. Just something would have been real nice. Oh, I know I've been talking forever and I'm so sorry, but something that's actually really good news is that Tater, back there you can see his little ears, Tater, he's not bald any longer. He's growing hair, he's not a bald baby. His little chest is filling in, his sides are filling in. They told us that he had the color dilution alopecia, which I don't think he does have that now because typically the hair does not grow back. I've been washing him with People Dandruff shampoo, Neriazerol, mixed in with some other medicated dog anti-dandruff shampoo, anti-seboric shampoo, and his hair's growing back. It's growing back. He's not flaky, his skin's not peeling off of him, and he has hair. He's not a bald baby. I'm so excited for him. That little guy, he's just been through too much. Oh, these lashes look like crusty little spider legs. Oops. Alright, you guys. Wow, this probably is like one of the least readies I've ever gotten trying to get ready with me. There's not a lot going on here, but I do have other videos that I'd like to film today where I might be trying some stuff on, so hopefully this makeup look will get filled in eventually. Thank you so much for listening to all my ranting and raving today. This is going to be a very, very long, very ranty, very talking video. So just thank you guys for sticking it out with me, and that's all I had to share with you guys today. Please go ahead and consider subscribing if you would not mind. It would mean absolute world to me and Ren and Tater, and I just hope you guys have a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!